Yeah, how's it going? Today is October 13th, Sunday. Since it's Sunday, let's take a look at finances and what kind of information we can find. In today's video, in every article, we're going to be taking a look at finances and we will try to summarize where finances are moving. Well, it might be very hard to capture these kind of things, but we will try to do our best and taking a look at starting with UK, progressing to perhaps where a lot of attention is as of now. That would be India is purchasing a lot, US is selling a lot, what Russia is doing perhaps, as well as we're gonna be closing the video while taking a look at Europe and Ukraine. We're gonna be only taking a look at finances and what information has been published, right? We can start by taking a look at something that was published today. That would be industrial strategy launched to hardwire stability for investors. So that would be UK and potentially UK and administration currently would be looking to bring more investment into UK. There's a lot of things I was trying to take a look at it and trying to understand a little bit better yesterday, but there's a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of businesses and people. So not necessarily this is what's happening. There's going to be a summit where a lot of people will be invited potentially invest into UK. When it comes to leadership, there would be a Labour's first 100 days running. UK is panned as worst start in living memory. So I guess government can always do better. I think that's how I understood it. If government can always do better, I mean, let's take a look at what other governments are doing, right? When it comes to purchases of high ticket items, so something that we were taking a look at previously, that would be US approves of 4 billion worth in dollars that would be sold to armed drones to India. Something that happened on February, which we have covered, and that will be a 31 drone. And seems that same or very similar purchase happened just now again. But there's two different articles where they're discussing some of how much I'm interested in drones. I believe it's billions. We're talking about billions, and to manufacture, perhaps they have taken 20 years to develop this kind of technology. Once that has been said, after 20 years, this is for how much you can sell it for, kind of. That would be India to get 4 billion Predator drones, how 31 new killing machines will straighten defense against China. I don't think it's killing machines, and I don't think price would be 4 billion. So I thought let's take a look at perhaps other articles, right, where they're discussing that in more detail, and potentially those drones might cost about 3.1 billion. So I don't know the exact number, right? So if that would be 4 billion or just over 3 billion. So let's perhaps this particular article would be structure, not necessarily killing machines, since there's many uses, right? There might be three different uses, not necessarily. These platforms can be used for many purposes, and I believe it might be a little bit cheaper. But anyway, so let's take a look at this article and let's try to understand it. Uh, Most likely, some of this information is it was published perhaps in different languages, all those kind of things, and that people releasing some of that information not necessarily know entire details of the contract, right? That's a reason perhaps of sums of money why some of those contracts might be 4 billion, some of those contracts might be 3.1 billion. Just previously, they most likely previously they have spent 4 billion or so, right, dollars, right? But anyway, New Delhi Cabinet Committee on Security on Wednesday approved procurement of 31 Predator long endurance drones from US and indigenous construction of two nuclear power conventional submarines with aim to significantly enhance India's military pro. As people familiar with the matter said, that would be MQ-9B Hunter Killers drones are being produced for U.S. defense major. Let's keep the name of this company under foreign minister sales route as a total cost of around 3.1 billion. There might be next order. It might be we might give them a discount, right? Not necessarily 4 billion, but anyway, the two submarines will be built at the cost of around 4 1,000 RMB. Crowley, the people cited above said that 2 mega procurement projects were cleared by SSC chair, that will be Prime Minister. Overall, entire contract and the way how those submarines will be built, I have done a little bit of research and trying to understand. That will be most likely joint venture where knowledge sharing might take place of how best to build those submarines, and there might be some of the other partners involved. So I was trying to understand a little bit better of who would be those partners when it comes to submarines, as well as drones would be high ticket items, right? Anyway, let's progress. We have only 10 minutes, right? Let's progress and let's take a look at what else is happening in the world. This particular contract, I believe, would be very, very important for many reasons, right? That will be Russia to build icebreakers to India. Two of the country's shipyards will work on non-nuclear vessels for Rosatom, the Economic Times reported. It says non-nuclear. I don't know if it's accurate, right? Perhaps there's the reason why it should be non-nuclear, and all capabilities and knowledge sharing when it comes to nuclear. There might be 5 governments involved when it comes to approving who would be able to work with nuclear technology, and there's some talks that was happening. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, I don't think this information is accurate. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, Russia's state-owned energy giant Rosatom is planning to have 4 non-nuclear icebreaker ships built in India. The Economic Times reported on Thursday, citing the official New Delhi is already considering 1 state-owned and 1 private shipbuilder for the plant. The report said the matter is currently being considered by the India and Russia's government. The unnamed official said, adding that the parties are also discussing a possibility of engaging in shipbuilding and the repair of Russian vessels in India's shipyard, as well as the training of India's seafarers in polar vessels, right? Overall, when it comes to a lot of job opportunities, as of now, seems that India can do a lot, as well as when it comes to professionals, STEAM subjects, and skilled personnel. Seems that India do have a lot of capabilities when it comes to hiring people, right? A lot of people looking perhaps for a job, and high-end jobs, they could do it. When it comes to Rosatom, potentially this particular company has capabilities to build nuclear. So for whatever reason, they might say non-nuclear. Once that has been said, let's take a look at next article, right? The next article, and we're gonna be closing on that. That will be Ukraine's accession will cost 186 billion. EU estimates. I don't know where they're getting these numbers from, right? As well as perhaps to rebuild it and all entire infrastructure, as well as defense systems, all these kind of things. Perhaps to rebuild it all. Anyway, let's. I haven't read this article, but I thought it might be interesting since it's Sunday. We're taking a look at finances, right? Future enlargement of the EU will greatly affect farming and cohesion funding allocation. Right. Anyway, I don't think there's a shortage. There might be a massive shortage at the market when it comes to grain and all food products, right? I believe there's a massive shortage. Perhaps in this article we're going to be taking a look at subsidies, since a lot of farmers been subsidized, and Ukraine might bring a lot of to land or farm land to the table and all this kind of things. I don't have horse in the race, quote unquote, right? So I'm not really forward or against it. I believe there's a massive shortage of food on the world stage. So I believe that would be good to have better technology when it comes to farming skills and expertise. And I believe that will be positive for EU to bring Ukraine in, right? Brussels integrating Ukraine into European Union could mean some of the 186 billion euros funds flows to countries over 7 years, according to the internal note of Council of EU seen by this particular news article, right? So they perhaps only taking a look at one sector, but I don't know. Enlarging the EU further include six Balkan countries as well as Georgia and Moldova will impose a further border of around 74 billion of the EU budget and no document added. I don't know. They just taking a look at perhaps negatives in this article, but anyway, enlargement is set to be main discussion point of the meeting of EU leaders later this week in Spanish city of Granada in the European Union is preparing to open accession negotiations with Ukraine with formal announcement expected as soon as December. The Council documents first reported Financial Times it's the first official exercise of what further enlargement could mean for EU's budget. The note outlined opportunities such as a larger international market and a more political cloud of global state, but it also warns about very significant challenges on issues ranging from EU farm budget, which is massive by the way, as well as they don't want to negatively affect some of the farmers that they already have. But again, skills and transferable skills, and perhaps not necessarily sell only to EU markets. Perhaps the additional surplus grain can be sold on the world market. But anyway, for the rule of law and all EU's decision-making capacity. So they take a look at all and touching on all the pain points potentially, right? Further enlargement will mean that all current EU countries will have to pay more and receive less. I do not agree with this part, but anyway, many of the countries that now receive more money from EU than they put in will become net contributors. There might be some data to support this, but perhaps the what we need as a EU, right, and all people living in EU, they need better people and decision makers when it comes to sales and exports. That's what they need. They need to focus on the business side of things and where they can sell more grain, since a lot of governments out there and a lot of people are starving right now. So if there's people like that, then they only focusing on what's happening in EU and inward facing. Perhaps they really should consider outward facing, right? If there would be surplus of grain where they can sell that grain, they should rather focus on this kind of things. But anyway, the note does not go so far as calculate cost for each European country, but does zoom in on the projected impact of agriculture and cohesion policy. When it comes to EU farming subsidies, again, they only focus on this kind of area, so I don't think it's that might be very important for a lot of farmers living and operating in the EU. And perhaps those farmers should focus on where to sell a lot of surplus production or focus on perhaps different areas and expertise. While food is important, perhaps focus on more diversified entire portfolio of EU that perhaps should be of a focus, right? But anyway, so this particular article, perhaps written by lobby of a lot of subsidies, and as of now, where the subsidies are going, and a lot of farmers already kind of been subsidized in Europe and what they're doing, and there's a lot of fear when it comes to enlargement of Europe, as well as a lot of subsidies might go towards Ukraine. Anyway, I don't know. No. So there's a lot of things like launching satellites into space, building internet, and giving those kind of services to a lot of people, and no one's focusing on that. European Union cannot accomplish that, by the way. Cannot accomplish. US accomplished, other governments have accomplished, including China, Russia, and you cannot accomplish that. So perhaps they should focus more on this kind of areas and how to sell those products and services to others. So, but they're focusing only on agriculture sector. So I don't know why they're focusing on that. Anyway, let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.